This episode is brought to you by Destination Specialists, one of the longest-standing travel agencies in Cebu City. So for all your travel needs, go to Destination Specialists. When you plan your travels, whether it be business or pleasure, give them a call at 032-2312-461 or visit their website at destinationcebu.com. I myself have never bought a ticket. Yeah, my friends laugh at me. I can't be bothered, honestly. So I give them a call. It's a lot easier. I like talking to a person. Or I can visit them. The first branch is located at the upper ground level SM City Cebu North Reclamation area. It's above the food court. And another one is in the second level of Manila Town Center above Dim Sum Break. So that's it. Take a trip. Use Destination Specialists. They're a great travel agency, folks. Also, if you want to improve your Instagram feed for beautiful travel photos, follow at Destination Specialists on Instagram. Or you can follow them on Facebook.com/Destination Specialists. On Facebook, they post packages and the beautiful travel photos as well. All right. Let's get to the show. Welcome to 032 Conversations, the podcast where we talk to creatives, see how they live, and how they do their work. I'm your host, Carlo Villarica. We have a new episode every Tuesday, and if you are listening to this episode at the very moment it comes out, I have to tell you, it is my wife's birthday. Steph, happy birthday. If you're listening to this episode and you know who my wife, greet her happy birthday. I don't care if you're listening to this episode like a month from now or a month and a half from now or 2 years from now. If you are listening to this episode, go to her Instagram account at Stepak and send her a happy birthday greeting. Say happy birthday greeting from the podcast so she'll know where it came from. Yeah, it's her birthday. And happy birthday, Steph, if you are listening. And with any luck, we are celebrating your birthday today. This is getting kind of meta. But I must say, the nice thing with having Steph as my wife, she's a great wife, great mom, and also, when you choosing a partner is super important, and I feel like at this very moment in time, it is one of those examples when partnerships work. So currently, we're working on. We got this house in Mandaue, and there's a lot of work to be done. We have to repaint it, retile it. We have to buy furniture. So this is very much a joint effort on our part, and Steph. So talk about partnerships. Steph is doing all the stuff that I do not want to do. And I'm doing all the stuff that she doesn't want to do. So so right now, we're at the very early stages of this. And with any luck, we'll move in sometime mid this year. But right now, she's, choosing appliances, choosing the furniture, deciding on the colors, talking about the design and layout of the house. I don't want to do any of that because, I just don't. I feel like she's much better suited to do it. And my job is coordinating and overseeing all of that. So actually going there and showing contractors, talking to the contractors, making sure that they get paid, all of those logistical, boring things. And so she doesn't like to do that, and I don't like to do her thing. And that's an example of how partnerships work, man. Like, we argue a lot. Don't get me wrong. Happy birthday again, Steph. But yeah, we do. But it's worked out. It's been working out. I'm excited to move. Hopefully we figure out, after moving, the moving might be actually the easy part. Because when we're there, we have to figure out how to live there, Like, all the day-to-day, daily stuff. We'll figure that out. Who cleans, who cooks, who takes care of the kids, what happens when somebody's not around, or what happens when somebody's energy is down. All of those things, we're going to figure that out. But for now, we'll do the moving. And speaking of moving, since we are planning for that move, thankfully, we have a few Patreon supporters helping us. That house did not come free. We're still paying the bank every month. So, Patreon shout out to John Ahmed Durano. Thank you, Ahmed, for being a Patreon member. I first met Ahmed in 2018 when he reached out to do an internship for 032, and he was and continues to be one of the early listeners of the podcast. So I'm happy to report that Ahmed, is a Patreon member. Thank you again, Ahmed. And also a big shout out because Ahmed and his friend Frank Borses, they're doing a little branding project for me. I can't really talk about it in detail yet. I can't announce it anyway. But I'm excited to see what they come up with. So if you're interested in seeing Ahmed's work, maybe follow him on Instagram at JA Durano. You can see it there. And if you are interested in supporting the podcast just like Ahmed, consider visiting patreon.com/032. That's 032 in letters. Thank you again, Ahmed. This helps make the podcast sustainable. Yeah, this really does. Thank you so much. And in this episode, we're talking to Kymberly Maitland-Smith. If you don't know Kymberly Maitland-Smith, she just opened a place called Soul Sierra. It's where they do mindful events. It's kind of like a wellness center, like a holistic hub. And in Soul Sierra, so that's where they do the events. And they have a cafe component called The Garden. It's a veg cafe. So you can go to @Soul Sierra on Instagram or @The Garden @Soul Sierra. Links in the show notes if you want to learn more about it. I thought it'd be interesting to talk to Kymberly Maitland-Smith, about wellness, about mindfulness, about the mind, body, and spirit. So she is one of those people who has thought a lot about self-care, that sort of thing. So in fact, it's kind of funny. So when we scheduled that interview, I was having a little bit of a rushed day. So the day was kind of rushed, and so right before the interview, I decided I'll just eat like my favorite snack. By the way, spicy, cheesy, best snack ever. If you're not gonna, you want to put junk food in your body, but don't do that. But anyway, so that's what I was eating, and then Kim said that she could make it earlier, and I was like, yeah, sure, go ahead. And I started trying to eat it faster, and then I couldn't finish it before she arrives. I was a little bit conscious about it. I was feeling a little bit bad and guilty to myself, but that conversation with Kim made it all better. It made me realize how important it is to think about self-care and doing the things with regards to self-care. We're always thinking about how to express ourselves, how to make money, how to make ends meet, but sometimes we forget about us, the person. So we talk about that in this episode. But before we get to that episode, if this is your first time to listen to 032 Conversations, please subscribe. We have a new episode every Tuesday. All right, let's get to that interview with Kymberly Maitland-Smith.
Cacao.
Seriously?
Yes.
I want to ask you about that too. I'm very curious. Cacao for breakfast?
Yeah, like thick latte, but no sugar, no anything.
Just the drink.
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't, is that your normal breakfast?
Sometimes I have oats with granola, banana, chia, all that kind of stuff. But I usually have cacao nearly every day. Nearly
Really?
every day, yeah.
Where do you get the cacao?
The one I had today was from Bahal, but I like to experiment and try different brands, like local brands. I do have one from Bali, which is really yummy. But yeah, the one that I'm using right now is from Bahal, and I have one from Surigao also, and one from Cotabato.
Can you tell, is it like coffee where they come from different places and you can tell like the different, like I don't know, like oh, there's a hint of berry here or whatever.
I mean, I think so. I mean, all the cacao I've tried is different.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and also the level of caffeine, because there's actually caffeine in cacao. What I found, so like in places that I've tried, the one from Bahal is way higher caffeine than the ones in Davao and the ones in Surigao. So you can just feel it, like even the taste. Sometimes some are much bitter, so much more bitter than the others. Some are sweeter. But yeah, I'm just experimenting.
So you prepare them all the same way?
No. Depends how I feel that day and what I want.
Can you walk me through that? I'm kind of curious. So like I have a friend of mine.
Okay.
He started bringing in some cacao from Davao.
Mm-hmm.
And then because his frustration was whenever he would go to a cafe and he'd order a chocolate drink, it's really like some sort of chocolate syrup over milk or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not really it, because he like his story is his grandma used to make him like some sort of tablea thing, and he couldn't, he couldn't find that outside of his home.
Okay.
So he started bringing it in, and he's been going to the different coffee shops.
Wow.
I should ask him where I can find
Yeah.
it at this point, right? Because like Davao is supposed to have pretty good cacao,
Yeah,
I guess.
they're known for their cacao.
They are?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I think that's even being exported.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Especially from Davao.
what are you doing specifically? How do you make it? Like it's a sikwate?
So, with sikwate, it's just with hot water, right? But I think in Philippine culture, we add sugar.
Okay.
Sometimes milk. But I think that's rare. But how I prepare it, similar, still with hot water. But I like to add chili or sometimes a pinch of salt.
Like chili flakes?
Yes, chili powder.
Oh,
It
really?
actually enhances the absorption of the nutrients in
Okay.
cacao. So why I like cacao at its purest form and not, mixed with milk and stuff is actually because it's a superfood. It's a medicine. It is high in magnesium, high in iron, high in calcium. It's an antidepressant, like natural antidepressant. It's a natural stimulant. So people view cacao as like chocolate, but chocolate, when it's mixed with animal milk, it actually stops you from absorbing, like it inhibits the absorption of magnesium and all of those nutrients.
Okay.
So you're just ingesting sugar and milk, basically.
Okay.
But when you're just drinking cacao or eating cacao nibs, that's where all the nutrients are. So I like to try and keep it like as pure as possible. No sugar. Sometimes you can add a little bit of maple sugar, some maple syrup, but yeah, I see it really as a medicine.
It's a delicious medicine.
Yeah, I mean, some people find it bitter. It's not sweet if you drink it
Yeah.
at its pure form.
So wait. So it comes in. You're gonna have to like educate me.
Yes.
Okay, so it comes in cacao nibs, right? It's like then
Yes.
and then you have to crush it.
Yes.
So you really
They have
use
special machines that grind the nibs.
so you have it ground when you
I
order.
don't
when you
do
get
it myself,
Oh, okay.
but usually when you buy tablea here, they have the machines at home.
So it's a powder.
A powder, not really powder. I think it's like blood. It's like pushed together, compressed to become a tablet.
Ah, okay. Yeah,
But you
yeah, yeah.
can get cacao powder also, but I think that goes through another machine to make it super fine.
So you put the tablet in boiling water.
Yes. For me, I don't like to boil it because that also kills more nutrients. So I heat it to the point that it's melting, and I just keep stirring till it's completely melted. But I don't reach the level of boiling point.
See, this is
A lot of
why
info.
this is why I like to talk to people. Do you have that up there in the garden?
I'm growing my cacao trees, but hopefully in a year I'll be able to make my own tablea. But we do sell sequate or cacao in our garden, and I just let people know like which one is which. Sometimes I'll just get the one from Surigao. Sometimes I'll get the one from Bohol.
Yeah, so like there's an origin.
Yeah, there's an
Pretty
origin.
much like third wave coffee in a way.
Yes.
Yeah,
Definitely.
like you know how they sell. Well, when they serve you third wave coffee, there's like a little card.
Yeah.
They even have who the grower is.
Yes.
Or what,
I should do that. Yeah, I don't have like who the grower is, but I know where it was, made.
So every morning cacao.
Yeah, nearly every morning. But don't drink it when you have a cough or a cold, because it actually produces phlegm.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you're sick already, it's not good.
Okay.
So
So we're talking about food. So like when you came in, I was kind of embarrassed. I was thinking I'm going to finish this before she gets here, so I can hide it, just like my chippy. I know, right? So we're talking about that, and then I was doing a little. I like to research a little bit about my guest, and so you're vegan.
yes.
Explain exactly what's vegan again. Can you?
So vegans eat vegetables, and we don't eat anything that's like a byproduct of animals. So
no
no
cheese,
animal products,
no
no
milk,
egg,
no egg. So even fish, no fish.
no fish.
Okay. When did you become vegan?
So, well, I'm gonna go back. So I went vegetarian first, and that was 11 years ago when I was 19. I watched a documentary called Food Inc.
Okay.
It's quite an old documentary, but ever since I watched the documentary, I couldn't put any animal in my mouth anymore. So that changed my life. I was vegetarian.
Is that because of I'm not familiar with the documentary Food Inc., but
Yes.
is it because they showed like, cruelty to animals, that sort of thing?
Yeah, it showed
Okay.
everything, like first cruelty to animals, then the effects of making meat to the environment. So all the environmental factors and also all the negative side effects it can give into your body. All of those things, I was just like, what? How do I not know any of this? So ever since then, I remember someone served me fish, and I was just like, I'm so sorry, I can't even eat that.
Really?
Yeah. But I was vegetarian, I think, for 2021. 3 years, 4 years, moved to the Philippines, and I gained weight because I think I also didn't really educate myself on what I could eat. So I was just eating rice and vegetables, and carbs, like all pastas and pizzas, like anything vegetarian, not necessarily healthy, but still vegetarian. And I gained weight. I didn't feel so active. And then my mom was like, you need to eat more seafood. We don't have like all these substitutes here. And it took me a while, but then I started eating seafood again. I was in Bohol with my mom. My mom's from Bohol. And there was really nothing at the dinner, and she was like, eat buwad. So I had buwad, and then I started eating seafood for 4 years until 4 years ago.
You were vegan.
I was vegetarian.
Oh, okay, vegetarian.
Then
Vegetarians
pescatarian.
Also, okay, all right.
Then 4 years ago, I went vegan. Yeah.
So my next obvious question would be like knowing like I eat a lot of meat.
Yeah.
No, but I saw that documentary, Game Changers, a couple of months ago, and I don't know, just because I like sports, I
Yeah.
like doing those things. So, it obviously, I might be wrong, but this
Yeah.
was probably one of the first documentaries that showed it from like a performance aspect, like at least like eating more plant-based food. I might be wrong. I know it's the first one I saw,
Yeah,
and that's so it spoke to me. And then I can't stop eating meat, but I did add a lot more vegetables
That's good.
in my diet. So
That's a start.
yeah, well, yeah, if we Anyway, I'm not. So you're vegan in Cebu.
Yes.
All right. So how do you do that? Because like going into a restaurant, I've even been into like parties, and then they just have a buffet, and there's zero
Yeah.
vegetables. It's like a lechon,
Yeah.
yung ngoyong, whatever. It's all zero, nothing.
Yeah.
So there's no. I mean, rice. It's not vegetables, but you know.
Yeah.
So like, how do you? I don't know. Like, what are your tips and tricks for that here?
So don't go to those places.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think when your mind is set on something, nothing can alter that. I mean, that's how it was with me. And it also made me find ways to not be put in that situation. And also prepare my food before I do get into those situations. It just makes you plan more and it makes you more thoughtful. Also, what's good is like I found that now that I'm vegan, people around me are now starting to incorporate more vegetables and vegan meals into their diet. So for me, it's just great. I don't think it was difficult. It's not difficult. It wasn't difficult for me because my mind was completely set that this is what I wanted. But yeah, you just have to prepare and make sure where you're going, like wherever people are inviting you to this place, then you prepare a meal before, or you check if they have any vegetarian meals or vegan meals. And what's good is like I've been around to so many restaurants here. I've been a vegan for 4 years. So I always check the menu and I always ask them if they can alter certain dishes. So no butter, no cheese, no whatever. And a lot of restaurants are actually really responsive to it.
Oh, really?
Yes. I think it's just that you need to ask and tell them, like, well, I say I'm allergic and I could die from it. But, I mean, this was not the case when I first moved here when I was 21. When I was vegetarian and I moved here, it was way harder than now. Because then when I said no seafood, they would put chicken. Or no meat, they would put fish. No dairy, they would put cheese. Like, everyone is just like, but it's just fish. Oh, but it's just this.
No one had that concept yet.
No one knew what it was. And I think now, because vegetarians started getting introduced to the Philippines, and we have more tourists now, I think, and more people who are, researching, and there are these documentaries coming out. So people are more aware now. So it's so much more easier now, especially even just 4 years ago. It was a huge change, and there's more vegan restaurants. So
I know, like Cafe
nice.
George has they have specific.
Yeah, I love it.
I ordered they have like a jambalaya. I don't know if it's vegan.
It's vegan.
It's vegan. Okay. That's why, like, I'm not. I need somebody to remind me the difference all the time between vegan and vegetarian.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I just say, okay, it's a plant. They put like a little icon there. That's a plant. I'm like, oh, sure, let's order this one today. So, but where other places do you go to?
There's Planet Veggies.
Where's that?
I think it's downtown.
It's like a restaurant?
It's a calendaria.
Oh, okay.
They have the Wellness Land. They have a cafe in there. They have.
Where's that? Sorry, where's that?
I don't even know. I've been there a couple times, but it's kind of like in Rhodes.
All right.
I will
I will
message
not.
you.
I will. I'll put it in the show notes. I'm gonna research
Yes,
it. I'm
yes,
sure Google
it's-
knows where it is.
Yes, Google
Uh-huh.
knows. Live Life, that's in Escario, in
Alright.
Axis.
Okay, yeah.
Opposite Axis is a hotel. I forgot what the hotel's called, but there's Lunhao vegan restaurant. Really good. That's about it that I know, but there's so many restaurants like not Planet, what's it called? Something Palette. Persian Palette.
Yes.
In Mango, they have really good vegan options.
I just saw a friend of mine
George.
there. He's
Oh, nice.
he had some kidney problems, so he had to change his whole lifestyle. So he was eating
Vegetarian.
he had a buffet there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just
They
kept
have
going
buffets.
in.
It's nice. Yeah, the food's really good.
All right.
Mhm.
The vegan the vegan food, the
Yeah.
veg food.
Really good. And Pueblo has good vegan options.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I love Pueblo. I like Pueblo.
Mushi has a few, but they're mostly vegetarian. Red Lizard, you can choose vegan burrito. Fat Pho also. You just have to keep asking. That's how I did it.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember prior to watching Game Changers,
Mhm.
and I was just thinking about the food that I ate, and I realized, wow, I was not eating a lot of greens, at all. And it can't hurt. I mean, for me, anyway.
Yeah.
But
But do you feel a difference now that you're eating more vegetables?
I don't know. I feel better.
Mhm.
Like I used to eat, so my breakfast used to always be like 2 eggs, what was it? 2 eggs, some sort of meat, like
Yeah.
a bacon and bread or something like that.
Mhm.
Or kamote, right?
Yeah.
And then it came to a point where I was eating it and I was like, this does not feel like I'm doing this every morning.
Yeah.
This does not feel like, I'm doing something right. So then then I watched, then I saw the Game Changers, that I changed it. So now I just have granola, peanut butter,
That's good.
and honey.
That's good.
Pretty much every morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's hard for me to say because I bike a lot. So I mean, I feel like I'm getting stronger, but I don't know
Yeah.
if that's the food or if that's just me biking.
A lot.
You know?
Well, time will tell.
Oh, yeah. But we'll see. If I don't die when I'm 40, then I'm good.
Yeah. It's the greens then, for sure.
So, of course, one of the things that I wanted to talk about also, and because when I was researching about this interview, I was having difficulty finding some common ground in a sense of uh I believe in self-care, of course, but my approach to it tends to be from the perspective of just doing stuff. So I'm having a bad day. It's probably a good time to go on a 2-hour bike ride, something like that. Or playing basketball or whatever. And that's where I find my sense of flow or but I was looking at what you guys do in Solsera in the garden. There's some sort of ceremony.
Cacao ceremony.
Ceremony. I don't even know the terms. I'm having a very difficult time, talking about this. I'm not familiar about it at all. So how did you happen to find out about this? I don't know. World.
This world.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't even know what the terms like spirituality, mindfulness, wellness. To you they're very specific. I assume. To me, I don't have a good sense of what they mean. I don't know if you can talk a little bit about that.
Sure. I mean, well, it's basically similar to what you said. You find your flow doing these activities, right? That's already a step to wellness because, like you said, it's self-care. It's doing what you need to make you feel good and feel better. So we're just the hub for that. a lot of people find wellness their own way, like eating well. That's why all our meals are vegan. We do have some vegetarian options at the garden. So the garden is a cafe as well as just a place for nature and for relaxation. But yeah, we're the hub of wellness, I would say. And wait, how did I start this? So I've been into wellness for a long time.
Okay.
I found Buddhism and meditation when I was really young, like when I was 10 years old. And I just started reading a lot about different religions, different spiritualities, different, how do you call this?
Like philosophies in a way?
Yes, I love that. I don't know why, I was just so interested with it. And so wellness came after. It was more about like philosophy and where these stories came about, and meditation, how it makes you feel better. So I was reading a lot about it when I was young, and also lived in Ho Chi Minh and Thailand. And in Thailand, it's a Buddhist country, so I would hear a lot about meditation, see monks, and go to temples, and try to meditate, even though I didn't know what I was doing, you know? And there was some kind of peace in that, and just being in that space of silence and like lighting candles and incense for your ancestors and because there's so many different gods, I don't know, for me.
Oh yeah, in Thailand, that's what it is, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of different...
Like they have...
there's no really God, there's Buddha, and then all the other...
yeah, they have like Bali's in Thailand, right?
No.
Oh man,
that's in Indonesia.
Oh, okay, that was Indonesia then.
But similar.
No, but like, yeah, they have.
I think it's Hinduism.
Hindu? Yeah, they have like different.
Common.
Like this is
lots of different gods.
Kind of like how we in the Philippines treat like saints in a way.
Yes,
the saint
exactly.
of this, saint of that.
Yeah, there's so many different ones, and I don't know. I just got interested in all the stories, and then found meditation, and with that. I was back and forth. I would just go in waves, go back to my regular life, and then read a book and all that. And then I found vegetarianism, and that's when I connected myself with animals. And just like in Buddhism, you don't eat meat, because you see yourself as equal as the animals. And that's when I started becoming more spiritual in a sense, like no harm. That's what actually, yeah. One of my Instagram name is Ahimsa Soul, and Ahimsa means not harming any beings. That's when I found that. And wellness came with that as well, because my father went to hospital and he had surgery. And after the surgery, the doctor showed us a video, wanted to show us a video of the surgery. Because it was like with a microscope thing, and it was filmed, and there were like lots of layers of fat.
So you watched it. You saw that.
Saw a bit of it. I was 19, and the doctor was like, "Look at how difficult our operation went because your dad has so much fat in the body."
The doctor showed you this?
Yeah, my dad showed us, but my doctor asked my dad to show it to us.
Oh.
And that's when the doctor also introduced us to Food Inc. Because my dad watched it first, went vegetarian, then showed it to me, and after that I went vegetarian. So that's when I started like meshing spirituality with physical wellness, and then that's how it kind of began. Then I started doing yoga, and then that kind of helped me with controlling my mind. So then it became mind, body, and soul, like wellness, not just physical wellness, not just what you're eating.
I'm I can't believe. At first, when you're telling me about that story about the doctor showing the video, right, I was like, "What? Like, can he do that? Like, is he supposed to do that?" Then I realized. Then I thought, "Wait, then what a gift!"
Yeah,
in a way,
it
right?
Was. Because, he asked my dad first to show it to us, and we wanted to see it. it was a gift. I wish I saw this documentary when I was younger. I think it would have linked a lot, like, put the cables in my brain together at a younger age. Because growing up, I didn't really question food. I was just like, that's on my plate, I'll eat it.
Yeah,
I
me
never
too.
related it. Like, I never thought of it being an animal or a live being. And my mom's from Bohol, so we used to wake up at 5 a.m. to kill the pig for food. And for some reason, just like everyone else, how they saw the pig, it's just a pig. It's not a living being with feelings or babies or anything. But when I was 19 and I watched that documentary, everything changed. And I was like, we're exactly the same. Just because they can't speak, I find myself exactly the same as them. And then that's like where the wellness began. Like my
Yeah, there's a
my
lot
diet.
of like physical benefits from being vegan,
Yeah.
right? Well,
Yeah.
I mean, so I'm sure you've read about like you have to take like vitamin B12 or something.
Yeah, but I think it's also been, there are people who still eat meat who still need to take B12.
Yeah, because the meat is like
It's-
too clean.
Yeah, but there are now vegan like ways to get B12.
Oh, yeah, how do you do it?
Well, I still take the capsule, but very rarely. I get my blood checked like every year, and I'm perfect, so I never really worry.
So where do
About
you
anything.
so where do you get the B12?
I get it from Healthy Options,
I know,
but it's
like,
vegan based.
yeah. So
They
if it's
get
not
it
if it's
from-
not from the capsule,
They get it from, I think it's like little things in seaweed or something. Like, I don't know how to, they're really small. So you need to ingest a lot of it to get it. But, or maybe it's in grass too. It's in green.
no,
but they're-
because you mentioned that you don't take the capsule that often.
No.
So you're getting it from somewhere else.
Well, I mean, I don't have any deficiencies. So it's not
Mm.
something like you need to ingest it every day to survive.
Ah, really?
No one's died from lack of B12 that I know of.
So, no way. There has to be somebody.
There
who just
might be, but I mean,
yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
anyone who's...
Ah, so it's probably different for everybody.
Yeah, I'm sure it's different. I think it's really... I'm not saying everyone should go vegan and vegetarian, though of course that would be the world I would want to live in. But I think it's what's best for your body, because everyone's body is different. And I just didn't find myself doing... After I switched to vegetarian vegan diet, I couldn't go back to meat because I felt so much better. So it depends on you, I guess. Like, what makes you feel good. I think greens is always important because it'll help you balance everything and rest, give your digestive system a rest because it takes like 5 days to digest a piece of meat.
Oh, really?
And vegetables is so fast. That's why our bowel movement's so easy. And we get a lot of fiber and all that. And that's why colon cancer is so popular here in the Philippines. Because a lot of the meat that everyone's eating are canned or processed. And it's full of antibiotics and things that aren't even real food. Which is super sad.
Yeah, I don't think... So you said, like, you saw the documentary when you were, like, 19.
Mm-hmm.
And then you started thinking about food.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't thinking about food till like, I don't know, 5 years ago or something. And that was because like I just gained weight. Like, oh, I gained this much weight. I've never been this heavy in my life. I should probably figure out a way to lose it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, what I did was I just cut out like white carbs. Just did that.
Yeah.
And then it made me feel so much better. And then every year it's changed a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So now, like I'll eat carbs, but I'll add a lot more like greens now.
Yeah, that's good.
So
It's all about balance.
yeah. Yes. You mentioned meditation. How do you
Yes.
meditate?
How do I meditate? I sit down, close my eyes. There's so many different types of meditation.
Uh-huh.
But what I like to do with my cup of cacao in the morning is I focus on my breath,
Okay.
and then I focus on all the senses.
So you close your eyes.
Yeah. Breathe first, like deep breaths, and then relax the breath so there's no control in your entire body except your focus. So I focus on my breath, focus on the sounds, and focus on any sensations until you kind of drift into silence.
But you don't. Does this happen to you where you're trying to meditate and this thought comes in your head like, oh, I need to.
Of course, that's
I
normal.
need to write that letter or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, your mind is always working. That's how we're alive. We need that mind to work. But what is good with meditation is you notice the thought and you're like, okay, thank you. And you kind of brush it aside. For me, I like to count back from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then go back to my meditation. But it's so normal. Some days you can't meditate, like, quote unquote can't, because that might be the part of your meditation for that day, that you're just full of thoughts. Some days it take like 2 seconds to get into my meditation state. So it really depends. But what's important is to do it frequently, because it's like a muscle. You're training your mind to like get into that calm state. And that's how it helps, like when anger management, it helps for people who react right away when they're angry, because you can just put yourself in a state of like calmness, and then you start kind of like gathering your thoughts properly instead of reacting right away.
No, I really think there's huge. I don't meditate right now, but when I was a kid, my parents, for some reason, they knew about meditation. They had this book, and then they taught me a little bit, and they even sent me to Manila to join this. I don't know what it was, like a class with other kids, like, I don't know, 10-year-olds or whatever. And then they really just taught us. I mean, I don't remember much, but I remember I'd sit down, cross my legs, back up straight, try to get kind of comfortable, put my hands on my legs, and then I'd see the number 3 times, see the number 2 3 times, see the number 1 3 times, and then try to think of like, for lack of a better term, like a happy place. So mine was always like, for some reason, the beach, and you hear the waves coming, and that was that. Just do that for like a couple of minutes, and then we were done.
That's really good.
Yeah, I mean, back then, I was like, I don't know why I'm doing this. This is,
waste of time.
Yeah, I'm so fidgety. Like, I just really wanted to just do stuff. But I wonder if that had an effect on me. That continues to have an effect on me today.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, even that you remember that, I feel like, do you ever use that?
Very rarely. Like sometimes when I want to sleep, okay. But then I had kids, and then now it's so easy to fall asleep now. I'm like tired all the time. So how long do you meditate?
It depends. Like some days, maybe I could only get in 10 minutes. Some days 20, some days 30. It really depends. There's so many different types of meditation. Dance for me is a form of meditation. So sometimes I just play music and I dance. I can do that for hours. But there's so many different ways. And there's even guided meditations now on YouTube and stuff.
There are apps and stuff, right?
Yeah, there are apps. So those are really good for people who want to get into meditation. Good for beginners because the guidance helps a lot. But yeah, it just depends on the day.
So is that what you use to silence your like monkey brain? Where you're.
Yeah,
that's what you do.
I think breath is what gets me into that state. Breathing. That for me is most important before I get into my meditation. Even when I'm angry, I'll take 3 deep breaths, and I'll already feel so much more calm than when I was just like, oh my gosh, So.
Yeah, I find that like when I get angry, just give it a second.
Yes.
Don't like. And then when I've regretted it the most is when I don't give it a second. When I just
snap.
Yeah, well, not
React.
really snap, but like, you know, I mean,
You
like,
react right away.
yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
I let the first instinct thing that comes to my head
Yeah.
out,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah. So yeah, it's important to just breathe. Sometimes we breathe. No, we don't even breathe like properly in our daily lives. A lot of us take short breaths.
Can you
And we
explain
don't
that?
even
So how do you
notice.
breathe properly?
You wanna try?
Sure.
So you keep your back straight,
All right.
and when you breathe in through your nostrils, expand your belly.
Okay.
And after you expand your belly, you continue to fill it into your lungs, and then even up to your throat. And then you exhale from your belly and out of your lungs, and then out of your throat. So a lot of us breathe really shallow, so we don't even really expand our belly. We're just breathing through our lungs, which is really light and shallow. We're not using our lungs to the full capacity, so we don't get enough oxygen in our bodies, which makes a lot of people tired already. So with like even just a few minutes a day of breathing this way, like deep, deep breaths from your belly, it already helps expand your lungs. So throughout the day, your breaths will be longer and deeper than usual. And in Buddhism, they believe that's what makes you live longer. They believe that when you're born, you have a certain number of breaths in your life. So that's why in Buddhism, breathing deeply is so important. Like there'll be days where you're just like, oh my gosh, I forgot to breathe, you know, and you just sit there and you expand. And yeah, you feel a lot lighter, more energized, and there's more like blood flow in your body.
Yeah, no, it's definitely an effort to do it.
Yeah, but it becomes a habit.
Oh, yeah,
Even
yeah,
if
yeah.
you take like 10 deep breaths every morning, it makes you feel so much better. And then in the middle of the day after lunch, take 5 deep breaths, 10 deep breaths. And it becomes a habit, and you start feeling good that you have this habit, and you start feeling better because you have more oxygen in your body and your brain.
So is this the type of thing that you guys do over at Soul Sierra?
So at Soul Sierra, it's all about consciousness and mindfulness. So, like I said, it's about mind, body, and spirit. So with the mind, that's when meditation and yoga comes in.
Okay.
It helps you quiet the mind and, focus on the present moment, which is very important and also important in meditation. And then the body, that's also the diet and exercise, and yoga is also included. And then the spirit is when we do, let's say, meditation is also involved in that. But in the spirit, it's also about opening up, opening your heart, speaking your truth, empowerment. All of that is involved.
So that's the spirit.
Yes.
It's almost like finding
your truth.
Something like that. Like
yeah, finding your passion, finding your truth, finding what makes you happy. Like those are gonna be the motivations for you to live this life at its full. At
like
your
finding
full
out
capacity.
who you are, right?
Exactly. Well, remembering who you are.
Oh yeah, well, I don't know. I remember when you're in high school and you're just super. You have the spotlight effect where you feel like everybody is just, looking at you. Well, really, no one cares.
Yeah.
But you're
The
really
ego.
self-conscious
Yeah.
and you're afraid to do anything.
Yeah.
Like I was that kid in class who the teacher would say a question and I'd think of an answer. I'd never raise my hand up. Because
you're self-doubting yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I got over it.
Yeah.
Fortunately.
Yeah, good.
But, so that's like finding yourself.
Because, in school, there's a lot of competition. That's my issue with school. Because it's so competitive that a lot of kids that are falling behind don't want to speak up. And for me, that you carry for a long time in your life. And it takes, you see a lot of people who were quiet in high school still quiet today. Luckily, some of them get out of it. But it's the school system that, for me, that plays a huge role. Obviously, family and friends too, but for me, competition is
You're preaching to the choir. Like
Yeah.
I have a whole podcast with Hannah Martinez Florenda.
Oh,
Do you know
nice.
her?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, and then we talked about school,
Nice.
and we did not do well in school.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about that because I have
Yeah.
kids
Yeah.
and where to send them and then
Mhm.
everything.
How old are they?
My kids, 2 and 4.
Okay, so it's still there.
Yeah.
Still young. You have time.
Oh, yeah. Wow, that's all I
to
have.
think about it.
That's all I have.
But yeah, so at Soul Sierra, it's really about like bringing out your authentic self,
Uh-huh.
forgetting like the social norms, forgetting about social media and what is normal and what is popular and what you're trained to think or what you're trained to see that is beautiful. It's trying to like shed all of that and try and like come from your heart, not from what everyone else said or whatever you think everyone else would want you to think. It's really like try to find your root again.
When did you have that realization for yourself?
Well, luckily for me, I've always been someone who didn't care about what other people think. That started when I was young already. But, so that definitely helped me, like, find my way and not worry about what other people think. Because that can stop you from doing a lot of things. I mean, self-doubt also, and thinking that people are going to say that you're going to fail. Screw all that. You have to try and just do it. And I think that's what I did for this. But how did I start? How did this happen to me? I think 2 years ago. I'm still going through it, but just issues in my personal life, family life. I think that brought this out of me a lot more. Like, helped me search for what makes me happy without having to deal with that, I guess, and like extra exit strategy of like, get me out of this world. And that's when I found meditation again, even more deeply. And that's when I started reading more books, meeting some other spiritual people who helped me in my way, because like I guess I just went through a lot of problems with myself, a lot of self-doubt also, and looking after a lot of people that I forgot about myself. And that's when I was like, I'm not healthy. I don't feel healthy, even though I'm vegan. I just was tired. Nothing made me happy. And that's when I was like, I need to find my way. I need to find this for myself. And so I actually went to Bali, Ubud, which is like a spiritual hub.
Oh, I've been there. It's super nice.
It's super
Up
nice.
that mountain.
Yes.
And there's like cafes everywhere.
Yes, and a lot of vegan food.
Oh yeah, well, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was, but I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of art.
Yes,
Just
and
everywhere.
culture.
Yeah.
So I went there actually for a bachelorette party. And after the bachelorette party, I was like, I need to do this for myself. I need to detox mind, body, and soul for me. And, 1 year ago. 2 years ago was when I was going through a lot of stuff. Found my way. Last year was when I was desperate and I was like, I need to get out of here. I can't just be here looking after people and not look after myself. So I took that time for me, and I was away for 3 weeks.
In Ubud.
2 weeks in Ubud. Sorry, I was gone before that. But 1 week in Seminyak, 2 weeks in Ubud.
Oh, I don't know where Samnyak. It's also in...
It's more like a shopping restaurant party place. That was where the bachelorette party was, which was super fun. But I went to Ubud for 2 weeks, and I joined a retreat alone. Like, it wasn't a retreat with a group. It was just for me. So I had my own schedule, and I could choose the classes that I wanted to go to. And that's when I found true vulnerability, because I think I was super afraid of vulnerability. Growing up, I was kind of taught that vulnerability is weakness. 2 years ago, I took me a while to try and get out of that vulnerability and find strength in vulnerability and being open and emotional and feminine. But Bali, when I went there and I was alone, didn't know anyone, have never been there before, and joined these classes that made you feel emotion, like made you question life, made you question yourself and what you love and what you want in this life. All those things kind of like cracked me open. So I thought I was already healing and, growing, but when I went to Bali and I like did all this by myself, it really made me feel so much stronger because, I was so emotional the whole time, but I got to meet so many people that were on the same path. Got a lot of, it was just like, wow, this is life. This is living. These people are so strong because they get to show how they feel. And when I was growing up, I was taught to show how I feel. I was taught to not cry. I was taught to be strong. And that, for me, that is not strong. So it's important to let your kids cry, everyone.
Oh, yeah, they cry all the time.
But, speak their truth, Talk about it. I wasn't able to do that. And I'm not blaming my parents, but it was also, just people in my school, oh, don't cry, it's pussy, it's so bad. And now it's like, when a man cries, you respect that, because that is powerful right there. And I was able to find that journey and, question myself, question what I wanted to do. And at that perfect moment, when I came back from Cebu, our house was empty. We moved out because we were going to do something else with it. And that's when I came back and I was like, I need to share this here in Cebu. I need to share wellness. I need to share people to find, people finding themselves, people finding what is true to them, people breaking out of bad situations and finding strength within themselves to, do that. Because it's tough here. Sometimes you get stuck in the same cycle. And then you're like, why am I still dating the same kind of people? That hurts me all the time. It's because you don't have the strength within yourself to break that. So I created this space where people could do that. I really want to bring in teachers that I spoke to in Bali, teachers from all over the world that we won't be able to meet here. There are a lot of teachers here too that I'd love to share. But who can do that for people? Because especially women here in Cebu, in the Philippines, we're taught that we have to abide by all the rules. It's tough. It's tough. So this is a safe space for everyone to just have fun, find fun in wellness, find fun in finding yourself, and just being creative. We're also, a lot of people have creative blockages, so I want that space to be that through art, expression, dance, music, anything.
So when you were in Ubud,
yes.
So what? I assume you did something there, and you're oh, this should be in Cebu also, right? So when you say you guys moved out, so that's your house in Babag.
That was our house. We moved
house.
out 2.5 years ago. And then my dad was going to do something with it. That's why we moved out. But then it didn't push through. So at first I was angry. Oh my gosh, we moved out of this house for nothing. But then, when I get back from Bali, I was like, this is a gift. We moved out because for this, so I could do this for the place.
Yeah, so you made it the Soul Sierra and the garden.
Yes.
Right? So you were, I assume you were doing some sort of retreat in Ubud, and that's something that you want to bring here too, right?
Mm-hmm.
What specifically?
Well, first of all, I started cacao 2 years ago from my mentor. She's from here.
Who's your mentor?
From Manila. Wendy Gaikanko. I hope I said your name right. But she used to own the Gasho Center in Mabolo.
Okay.
And I met her over 2 years ago. And when I met her and she told me that she had a center, I was like, this is the kind of place that I've been looking for here. And she taught me Reiki, which is energy healing. It's a Japanese form of
energy
healing.
And Reiki?
Yes.
Sorry, my sister has My sister has a joke. So I make fun of her all the time,
Yeah.
and she goes Reiki wall.
Reiki wall.
Reiki wall.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that's what she says. So
Okay.
that's what it means.
Well,
Like energy
healing.
healing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I get you, Mon.
Yeah. So I did that with Wendy, and that changed my life. Like that was the beginning of my like more deeper inner journey, like meditation and healing and all of that. So, what was I talking about?
Oh yeah, so like the specific. Sorry, I cut you off. Really, I asked you about like the specific thing or retreat that you did.
So, anyways, with the Reiki, and then I did cacao ceremonies with her because she started facilitating cacao. And then when I went to Bali, I heard that cacao ceremonies, they do it a lot. And my first night there, I met another girl called Kim as well. And she was like, I'm going to a cacao ceremony. I was like, oh my gosh, yes, like I want to go to one in Bali. And it was beautiful. Like there were maybe 50 of us under a big pyramid. It's a pyramid. And something with the energy, with the pyramid energy. Yeah, the energy flow is super strong. And there were 50 of us and maybe even more. And there were people singing kirtan music, which is like spiritual music. And we had cacao, and we did some workshops that were like eye gazing. So you look at the person next to you, you don't even know, and you just gaze into their eyes for 2 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
I find that so hard to do.
It's hard, but when you're there and 100 people are doing it, it's so amazing what it does. I do it also at Soul Sierra. It's like people cry all the time.
Really?
It's so easy and it sounds so silly, but like when you connect soul to soul, because that's what they say, right? Your eyes are the thing to your soul. So it's really powerful. And I did that, and we sang together. It was just like, this is so beautiful. That was one thing, the first of many other cacao ceremonies. But after that, I did Kundalini yoga, which is a type of yoga. It's quite not new, but rare to find in Cebu. We don't have any Kundalini yoga teachers here, only in Manila. But that kind of yoga, I tried women's circles. Like I was joining women's circles. I joined everything that made me feel uncomfortable. Like I forced myself to get out of my comfort zone. And I was like, women's circle? I don't need that. I'm not going to do that. That makes me feel so uncomfortable to talk about how I feel. And I went, and I made really good friends through it and learned a lot. Our teacher was amazing and beautiful. So all these things of like cracking me open and trying to like speaking your truth and just being vulnerable and being open, those things really opened a lot of doors for me. One super significant thing that I joined was with Michael Ross, who's a healer from Sydney. I think he's from Australia. And I was given an appointment to meet him. I didn't know why, but I remembered filling out the retreat form and asking about your physical health and stuff, but I forgot about it. Anyways, I went there, and he was like, why are you here? And I was like, I don't know. They put me in this healing session with you, but I'm okay, I'm going through stuff, but everyone is.
His alarm bells are ringing
Yeah.
right then and there. He's like, oh, now I know why.
She's got issues. And then he was like, no, but physically what's wrong? And that's when I was like, oh my gosh, yeah. So 2 years ago, I found a lump in my breast.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I was very resistant to getting it checked. I was like, no, I don't need a needle. I'm going to heal myself. But it was growing more last December. Also, and it's super related to what I was going through in my life. So I went to see him and I told him, and like as soon as I told him that, he's like, lay down, like we need to talk. And what was nice about it is like he does energy healing, but he doesn't touch you. He just like moves his hands above you, similar to Reiki. I forgot the name of how he did it, but he would like move his fingers above certain energy centers on your body, and He was feeling my pulse. He was like, he was just asking me questions about my life while like moving around in my body. And then, to cut the story short, it was nice because I got to open up to him, but he also, I want to say, healed me, like super helped me out. It hurt a little bit when he was going above my breast, which was so strange because I was like, how can I feel it inside if you're doing it outside? And he made me sit up and find the lump, and I couldn't find it anymore. And I was like,
no way, really?
Swear, I broke down in tears, and he even cried. And we were just like, he was telling me how my energetic field in my heart was so blocked. And that's why a lot of women actually suffer from breast cancer. It's not just because of your diet, obviously that is related to it, but because women are so, they hold a lot, they carry a lot from in their heart that causes energy blockages in your body. And he said that block started forming when I was 17, which was when I left my home. So like, anyways, a lot of realizations through that session, but I still keep in touch with him, and he's one person that I would want to bring here. He's amazing, and he's just so kind. And
what's his name again? Sorry?
Michael Ross.
Michael Ross.
Yeah, he's on Facebook too. But he does this with a lot of people, and he said that you have to open up. You have to speak your truth. You have to cry. You have to feel what you're feeling. Don't block it up, because if you do, it causes all these problems in your physical body. So that changed my life, and he's the one teacher the healer I would want to bring.
Yeah, because we have, like, I was thinking about it. Here in the Philippines, we have a different sense of spirituality, right?
Mm-hmm,
like, here it's very, like, it's Christian. It's, it's a different sense.
Yes.
So that's why, I think that's why I had so much difficulty, like I apologize in the beginning of this podcast, but it's like I couldn't understand, no, or like even it's just something that we as a culture don't really have, or like.
But wait, are you Christian?
Oh yeah, I mean
Christian, Catholic,
ish.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what about like hilot? Hilot is very Filipino, and that's energy healing as well as massage.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I don't do hilot. I don't like having my massage.
Oh my god, you should do it.
I mean, I've done it. Like, my wife loves having a massage.
Yeah, but tell her to try like the traditional hilot massage, because that's from back in the day. That's also, and I think they do energy healing while they're massaging you. So actually, before we became Catholic and Christian, we were pagans.
Yeah.
So, like my lolo, he was a healer in Bohol. He used plants. He was very connected to Mother Earth, and that's what shamans are, right? Like people who are connected to Mother Earth and connected to the other dimensions, I guess, like spirit world.
Uh-huh.
We have that for sure. It's in our blood. That's who we were before Catholicism came into this country. That's why it is well known. Like Sikihor is a
Oh yeah, that's right.
witches live there. But I mean, I guess you could use that word. But we were pagans. We were connected to Mother Earth. I think that's super beautiful, and we do have it in us. When I speak to other grandparents and stuff, they talk about plant medicine. They talk about they don't like taking medication. They're very into the herbal.
Yeah, I don't like taking medication.
Stuff. Yeah, so it's really part of our nature. So it is there. You just have to find it, because it was blocked off when the Catholics came. We were witches. We were all that stuff. So of course you had to hide.
When you said Sikihor and you said witches, I was like, oh, don't tell my father. My father-in-law's from Sikihor, and
I love it there.
Yeah, but he does not like the reputation of.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
And he blames it all on this one Tagalog movie that came out called Sikihor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then that's what the movie is. The movie is like these kids from Manila or something. I forgot. I haven't seen the movie, but these kids go to Sikihor, and then they see it's like a horror film basically,
I
and then
wanna
they
watch
see
it.
all of this like I don't know witchcraft crazy. I don't really know what they saw, but like he blames it on that one movie.
Yeah, that sucks for him. Aw, but he's from there.
He's from there. Yeah.
What does he say about it?
About Sikihor?
About like...
he doesn't strike me as a like. He's not the, he's not connected to Mother Nature or anything. He doesn't strike me as that type.
Yeah.
Like he'll talk about it like his relatives there or
Yeah.
like the beaches are nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Like we should go. I'm like yeah, sure. We'd never go.
Oh my gosh, it's beautiful.
Really? I want to go there. I'd like to bike there. That'd be cool.
Yeah. It's really good.
And so we were talking a lot about like these are all things you do in Sol Sierra, the cacao ceremony.
Yeah, yoga classes, meditation, sound healing.
So these are all announced on your like Facebook page or something.
Yeah, they're on my Facebook and Instagram.
And then Sol Sierra is different from the garden.
Yes, because the garden is actually open to the public. There's an entrance fee of 100 pesos. And there's a cafe, and you can walk and stay as long as you like. But Sol Sierra Mansion, the house, is only open for retreats and special events and all that. Yeah, and sound healing and all that. But usually for events only.
Yeah, so I noticed like you'll post something like cacao ceremony, and then you even have a pickup like in JY.
Yeah, we have a shuttle at JY. Yeah. Because we're about 25 minutes from JY, and a lot of people have difficulties getting there if they don't have a car or a motorbike. So we offer shuttle service.
I want to visit because like I can only imagine. Like I really like Babag. The first time I went back there, it's just really quiet. There's nothing there but nature.
Yes.
It's really nice.
It's beautiful. I mean, we do have some karaoke stands,
unfortunately.
But it echoes. So I'm just like, be quiet, please. But it is beautiful. There's cows, there are goats. You can hear everything.
You take the good with the bad. We are still in the Philippines.
I know.
One of the things I realized, like when like I go biking everywhere, there's somebody everywhere. Like everywhere here in the Philippines, like if you go up the mountain, well, here in Cebu anyway, you go up the mountains in the middle of nowhere,
you'll see a person.
There's somebody there. Yeah, you're like there's a little house or whatever.
It's great.
I know.
It's nice.
Yeah, or like you can even get a sari-sari store if you're hungry.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of sari-sari stores now.
Yeah. So, wait, I want to make sure also we talk about Salty.
Yes.
So it's like
the merchandise of Sol Sierra. But I started it before. It was actually a swimwear, activewear brand. I started like 6 years ago. But now, because I've shifted as a human, this is shifting with me. And so it's always been consciously made. So we use upcycled materials, so waste fabrics that I buy and then turn into clothes. But now I've also brought in resort wear. So a lot of like flowy, bohemian, relaxing island clothes. And we also sell it Sol Sierra and also sell it Crimson and Siargao and Boracay also. But in Cebu, just two locations. But it's like linked to Sol Sierra but it's more of the fashion and physical
It represents
side.
like that lifestyle, basically.
Yeah, so a lot of cottons also now. I still make swimwear and sportswear for the active people, but a lot of resort wear now, just flowy clothes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we've been talking for like an hour.
Oh wow. Are you guys awake?
Well, I've had like really long ones before. I've had like a 3-hour one.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How do you know people listen to them?
What's this? People, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody hits you up and says, "Oh, I listened to the." I wouldn't be surprised.
I think I only know one person who would listen to it.
Really?
No.
I don't know.
I'm
You'd be
sure.
surprised. Like sometimes I'll see like somebody on Instagram. They'll screen grab it. It's like in the hour 15 mark or whatever.
And be like, they were talking about this this time.
Yeah, no. Like they'll just like listen to the podcast, whatever, and then
That's
but you
nice.
can see where it is. People listen.
I want to listen to you and Hannah.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna listen to that for sure.
yeah. Hannah's great.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything? Do you want?
I wanna share that in Sol Sierra, I'm also opening a eco lodge space. So it's also like an eco wellness retreat space.
Okay,
It's called Payaganda.
that's not yet there, not yet around. When
It's
is that
there,
happening?
but it's not finished yet.
Oh, okay.
It's payags.
What's it called?
Payaganda.
It's mga payag.
Yes.
So you're gonna rent out like the rooms.
Yeah, so
Oh,
overnight
cool.
stays,
Yeah.
people who just want to escape
Payag.
from... Payaganda. So at least we have different hubs there. So we have the Sol Sierra Mansion, which is really quite luxurious. Then the garden, it's open to anyone. And Payaganda for people who really want to ground and be in nature. 'Cause, I mean, everywhere is kind of in nature, but Payag is very local and earthy. So it's also in a cove. So we have triangle payags and bigger payags. It's still going to be meat free. So the whole space is actually vegetarian vegan because I want to promote sustainability and make it eco-conscious. But yeah, that will hopefully be open next month. I'm trying my best, but it's
Great.
super cute. I want to stay
yeah.
there sometime. Yeah, I'm just gonna
You're
finish
excited
one.
when you're looking at it. Like, oh.
Because I don't like aircon. We don't have aircon up there.
Well, when you're up
It's
there,
cold.
you don't need it. Yeah.
And it's super cold in Payaganda, so I'm excited. And it's really dark and cozy. Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, come visit.
Yes, I will visit. I'm thinking next time I bike up there, I'll drop by the garden or something.
Yeah.
You guys open at 8?
Yeah, 8 to 6 on weekdays and 8 to 9 on weekends.
You open at 6 a.m. on weekdays?
8.
Sorry, 8
And at 6.
and at 6.
Yeah.
8 to 6. And then
Yeah.
8 to 9 on weekends.
Yes. On Sundays, though, we're open from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. for meditation.
Oh, okay.
So people can just go up there and meditate or do yoga, practice their own silent meditation. So, I wanted to have a place where people could go do Tai Chi or people could just go walk in silence. I wanted that space for that. So on Sundays, it's open from 6 to 8. Then the cafe opens.
All right.
Yeah. And I have an event coming up June.
June.
So, it's not 100% set, but it's pretty much set. Fête de la Musique.
Oh, you guys doing it up there?
Yes. Planning it right now, but it's going to be an International Yoga Day and Summer Solstice Day and Fête de la Musique Day. So, June 21.
Are you getting some musicians up there?
Yeah, musicians, but it's also going to be mixed with wellness. So, wellness, music, and arts.
I'm curious. Do you have anybody in mind? That would match the aesthetic?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let me know when that's up.
I will. I'm trying to find, a lot of local artists. Because the music part will have to be free. It will be a free event for the music side of things. And yeah, I'm going to have auditions probably to try and find the people that align with what I'm trying to do. Because I'm trying to bring in more conscious music into the space.
Well, if you need help, I can...
I will ask you after this podcast.
Well, just to recap, eat well for the body,
and the mind,
and the mind,
and the soul,
and the soul. Yeah, the mind, body, and soul. When you said it kind of clicked. Where what the difference is.
Yeah, it's
way.
like the Holy Trinity. We can't live without the other, so you have to look after everything. So wellness doesn't only start in your body and your mind, but it's also how you feel and with what you're doing and giving out to this world.
Yeah, the word that comes to my mind, which I think is really just a part of it, is like purpose.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
matters.
And where can people find you online?
I am on Instagram at Kymberly Maitland-Smith, Kymberly with a Y, K-Y, and Facebook also, Kymberly Maitland-Smith. And my Soul Sierra page is Soul Sierra on Instagram and Facebook. And I have salty.ph for my fashion and accessory line. And the garden at Soul Sierra is also on Instagram and Facebook.
I'll make sure to link everything in the show notes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kim, for doing the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
I hope you enjoyed that episode with Kymberly Maitland-Smith. She was super generous with her story, super generous with explaining to me what they do over there at Soul Sierra. I have yet to visit the garden, but I'm putting it. That is in my list of things to do. Definitely, my thinking is I'm going to bike up there, and I just haven't been able to cut. The past 2 or 3 weeks, I haven't been able to get the time to have like a long, meandering bike ride. I'm hoping to do that soon. From the pictures, it looks beautiful. There's a good chance we're bringing our kids up there this weekend. We'll see. So thank you, Kim, for that interview. Thank you, Destination Specialist, for sponsoring the podcast. Thank you, Ahmed, for being a Patreon subscriber. Thank you, buddy. And the music from this podcast is Piano March by Audionautics. If you want to support the podcast, consider becoming a Patreon member. Just like Ahmed, head over to patreon.com/032. That's 032 in letters. I'm also going to put the link in the show notes. Or you can share this episode on social media. The more listeners we get, the more likely we can make this show sustainable. I hope this episode helped you as much as it helped me. All right. Next Tuesday. Ciao.